and orchestral sounds, ensuring the film's audio was as unsettling and groundbreaking as its visuals.
Not here.
Be read. It's got to be read. Okay. Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance.
To the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Will we remain standing for just a moment for 9/11, please? Thank you. All right. Heather,
So this is
excuse me, wait a minute. You did all that?
the.
Welcome to the Zoning Board of Appeals on September 11th, 2025. So let's begin.
Okay. So first on, we have a reserved decision, appeal number 2025-023, William Osborne, 2705 Roanoke Avenue, Riverhead, Suffolk County Tax Map number 600-15-1-1.1, Residence A40 zoning for a proposed one-story studio with basement and two-car detached garage.
A long form order will shortly be issued, the essence of which is as follows. Based upon the record, the area variance is granted in part and denied in part. The zoning board determines that there is no reasonable, prudent, or alternative for location of the detached garage, though seaward of the mapped coastal erosion hazard line, and the location of same is the most level area on the subject parcel. In addition, the garage is proposed to be located on a slab, reducing earthwork, excavation, and disturbance. Therefore, the proposed garage is granted. Secondarily, the zoning board hereby denies the request for relief for the second accessory structure, in paren described as the writer's studio, close paren, together with its expansion of driveway, sanitary system, retaining walls, and proposed areas of disturbed vegetation. The planning board and building department shall omit and reject approval/permit for that portion of the plans which depicts or describes disturbances beyond the existing driveway/parking area. To it, second accessory structure, in paren described as the writer's studio, close paren, together with its expansion of driveway, sanitary system, retaining walls, and proposed areas of disturbed vegetation, as same are denied.
Have a second?
Second.
All right. Mr. Porsche.
Aye.
Mr. Zawiski.
Aye.
Mr. Gazzillo.
Aye.
And I vote aye. So that's been read. Heather?
Okay, we're going to go slightly out of order for our public hearings, so we will take appeal number 2025-029 first. Yvonne Ferrara, 25 Nautical Drive, Riverhead, Suffolk County Tax Map number 600-14-1-36, Residence A40 zoning, for a proposed addition to residence, deck, and porch. Applicant requests variances and/or relief from Town Code Chapter 301-11, where proposed rear yard setback is 29 feet, minimum required is 60 feet, and where proposed front yard setback is 16 feet, minimum required is 50 feet.
Mr. DeLuca, please raise your right hand. Do you solemnly swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I do.
Please state your name and address.
Jim DeLuca. I live at 12 Window Lane East, Riverhead, and I'm the architect for this job. I want to thank the board for hearing this case this evening. Very simply, the occupant wants to raise the house up and put a basement under it for partly living, partly storage. And the house is being expanded slightly on the enclosed porch to the same perimeter or the existing envelope that exists. The two variances we're seeking is the front and rear yard. The front yard is a 16-foot variance, and that's to the stairway that has to be installed, the platform and stairway that has to be installed because the house is being lifted up out of the ground several feet to accommodate the basement area. And in the rear yard, a deck, we're going for a 29-foot variance because the house again is being lifted up. The rear foundation is being exposed for light and ventilation for the proposed rooms down in the basement. And the deck is the exiting out of the first floor on the rear side of the house. The front is actually in conformance with most of the buildings on the street. Several have the same condition, have the same porches that extend out into the front property area. So that's really basically in conformance with all the rest of them. The rear yard is a little bit more substantial, and it has because of the deck, but the deck actually serves two purposes. It's a place for them to exit the building and also to put their furniture on, their patio furniture and things of that nature. The property does slope very severely towards the east, so the deck area is the most convenient way for them to put their outdoor furniture and different things. The place is going to be cleaned up. The basement area is going to be cleaned up. All the accessory temporary structures are going to be removed. And if we get the variance, we're going to start on the drawings immediately.
Any questions here? Anyone in the audience have any questions on this variance? You have no one streaming ahead?
No one with their hand raised.
Okay. Who's got it?
Mr. Chairman, can I just make two small comments?
Please.
So I know you're aware that the plan submitted to the zoning board did not include the described dimensional relief by the surveyor.
Right.
In the future, that's going to be required always, or the zoning board will not review the application. We were able to pull the building department file, and I know that you submitted updated plans. I also want to confirm, because again, there are no setback dimensions set forth, it says shed to be removed. Is that going to be removed?
The existing?
Yeah, you have here existing shed to be removed.
Yeah, those are the existing steps. We're taking those out, and they're going to be right angle steps.
So the shed's gonna be removed?
The three existing steps are going to be removed.
I'm talking about the shed identified on the survey.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, they're going to be removed.
Now,
Oh, you're talking about the back structure? Yeah, that's going to be taken out. Yeah, that's coming out. Yeah, right now it's, I have a little problem with the surveying getting done. There's a problem, and that's why I dimensioned it myself. I took the string of dimensions and backed into the
Right.
into the dimension, and I certified it myself.
Right.
Yeah, and I'll make sure that when I do the architectural drawings, that it'll reflect
Right.
that
Great.
those dimensions.
Mr. Chairman, with respect to appeal number 2025-029, I move that the appeal of Yvonne Ferrara, 25 Nautical Drive, Riverhead, SCTM numbers 600-14-1-36, residence -40, RA 40 zoning, for variances and/or relief from the Town Code Chapter 301-11, where proposed rear yard setback is 29 feet, minimum required is 60 feet, and where proposed front yard setback is 16 feet, minimum required is 50 feet, be granted, subject to a final survey that will be required to be submitted in accordance with the applications and sketches with amendments thereto, if any, as filed with the building inspector.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Mr. Porcher.
Aye.
Mr. Zawarski. Aye. Mr. Barnes.
Aye.
Mr. Phil.
Aye.
And I vote aye. So variance has been granted. Good luck.
Thank you very much. I appreciate it.
Next, we have appeal number 2025-028, 505 Lincoln Street Opportunity Zone Fund LLC, 505 Lincoln Street Riverhead, and 214 Marcy Avenue Riverhead, Suffolk County Tax Map numbers 600-128-1-4 and 600-124-1-50.2, Village Center and RA40 zoning for proposed off-site parking. Applicant requests variances and/or relief from Town Code Chapter 301-231H, where all required parking spaces shall be located within 200 feet walking distance of the premises served. The proposed distance is approximately 370 feet, and where parking spaces shall not be located in any residence district unless the use to which the spaces are accessory is permitted in such residence district, and where Suffolk County Tax Map number 600-124-1-50.2 is located within RA40 zoning district.
Thanks, Joe.
The applicant, Kimberly Judd.
State your name and address.
Kimberly Judd, 737 Roanoke Avenue, Riverhead, New York, for the applicant. I also have here Tom Nigel, who is the president of Polish Hall, who will be speaking after I'm done presenting the application. So the subject property is located in the Village Center zoning district. It contains a little over 13,000 square feet. The property is conforming as to lot area. In Village Center, the minimum lot area is 5,000 square feet, so we're more than double the size of the zoning district requirement. The property is improved with a pre-existing building, about 7,737 square feet. I think everybody on this board is familiar with this building. It's been existing my entire life. The applicant has submitted a site plan application to the planning board seeking approval to convert an existing warehouse building to a mixed-use building with 9 apartments proposed on the second floor and an artist studio on the first floor. These proposed uses are conforming as to the zoning in the Village Center district. This building is estimated to have been constructed around 1908. It was home of the Suffolk Potato Exchange. The Suffolk Potato Exchange went out of business about 1976, but the building continued to be used as a warehouse and offices for construction companies. The applicant herein, 505 Lincoln Street, purchased the property in 2022. The property benefits from a letter of pre-existing use for a 2-story cement block warehouse with 1.5 bathrooms, 3 offices, partial unfinished basement, attached 1-story warehouse with unfinished basement, which is all part of the submission. Pursuant to the town parking schedule, the applicant is required to provide 30 parking stalls. However, there is a provision in the code 301-62B2 which permits a 20% reduction in the required parking. In this case, it would be a reduction from 30 parking stalls to 24, where credible evidence is provided by traffic counts or data by a licensed traffic engineer. We did submit a traffic study by a licensed traffic engineer by Delandro Andrews. That's part of the submission. The applicant in nearby Riverhead Polish Independent Club, which is better known as Polish Hall, have entered into a negotiation for a parking agreement where the client, 505 Lincoln, will pave, stripe, install drainage in Polish Hall's southerly parking lot in exchange for Polish Hall leasing the required 24 parking stalls that is required by 505 Lincoln to the applicant if the requested variance is granted. The parking calculations that were on the site plan that was submitted by Fox Land Surveying and the traffic study that was submitted by Delandro Andrews shows that Polish Hall has enough parking stalls for their business and to also provide and lease out the 24 stalls to the applicant. The plan and the study both show that Polish Hall requires 45 parking stalls for their business, where 83 stalls are being proposed. Polish Hall last month was granted administrative site plan approval from the planning board for the proposed parking lot and drainage improvements. We received a turn down letter in July because the 24 parking stalls are located in excess of 200 feet walking distance, because the parking spaces are located in a residential district. The proposed parking area for Polish Hall is located across the street from the subject property. I'm sure that you usually all go and visit these properties. My client's property is shaped like a triangle, backs up right up to the Long Island Railroad, and directly across the street is the back end of the Polish Hall lot. As you know, a few years ago, this board granted lot area variance to Silverback so Polish Hall could sell off the back part of that lot. I believe that is before the planning board or is somewhere in the planning process. So we received the turn down letter because of the located off-site, the parking, 200 feet walking distance. And in this case, when we measured it out, and it's not measured lot from lot, it says walking distance, so we have to measure it from walking out the front door of our building down Lincoln to the corner, crossing the street, going across Lincoln to, Sweezy, walking across Sweezy, and then walking down to where this parking area would be, and that turns out to be 323 feet. So the provision that we seek a variance from that is at issue here, 301-231H, and this is important, so I'm sorry to have to read it, but I'm going to quote it short. Quote, required parking spaces shall be provided upon the same premises to which they serve or elsewhere, provided that all spaces are located within 200 feet walking distance of the premises served. In all cases, such parking spaces shall conform to all regulations of the district in which they are located. Parking spaces shall not be located in any residence district unless the use to which the spaces are accessory is permitted in such residence district, end quote. And I just emphasize that last sentence because it does not exist in a vacuum. Polish Hall is a legal pre-existing non-conforming building and / use that benefits from certificates of occupancy dating back from 1971. And I think Mr. Nigel will tell you when the building was actually built and when Polish Hall started. So they benefit from legal pre-existing COs.
Excuse me, counsel, do you have a copy of that letter of pre-existing use?
Of the COs, the certificate of occupancy?
No, you're citing they have a letter of pre-existing use. Do you have a copy of that?
I have, yes, I do.
Okay.
I can submit it into the record. And I don't think anybody here disputes that Polish Hall has been operating since.
Just asking for the letter of pre-existing use that you were citing.
Yes, there's quite a few of them that have been granted over the
Not the
years.
certificates of occupancy, the letter of pre-existing use.
No, they're certificates of occupancy.
Okay, so do you have a letter of pre-existing use?
No, I do not
So you have
see
a
one in the
certificate
record.
of occupancy issued.
So I will get that. Let me finish what I'm doing, and I do have copies of their previous COs. And then Mr. Nigel can speak to more
So,
of that.
should I assume the COs are issued based on additions,
Yes,
alterations inside the building,
Yes.
that kind of thing?
yes.
But the
Dumb
particular
waiters,
whole
things like
use of
that.
The whole building, there is no CO.
I'm not aware of
Pre-existing,
an
okay.
overall
Maybe
CO.
down the road, you may want to apply for a letter of pre-existing use, and that would clear up a lot of things.
Okay.
Possibly.
I would just have to say, and Mr. Nigel will speak about that, I don't think anybody is going to be able to say that this has not been a pre-existing use as a
Counsel,
catering
you
hall,
can't
bowling alley.
represent that it has a letter of pre-existing use. What the
No,
member of the
COs.
zoning board is strongly recommending is that you make application,
Yes, I
not
understand
represent
that.
that there is one.
But there could be one, I just don't know, I didn't represent him in the real estate, and I think maybe Mr. Nigel can speak more to that, but the ones I have seen from the 70s and coming forward are all, as Mr. Barnes says, for additions and renovations and things of that nature.
It's never transferred ownership, so there was probably no need for a letter of pre-existing use.
That could be.
That's usually only typically when it's transferred.
Right. So again, that last sentence that I read off is really important. Unless the use to which the spaces are accessory is permitted in such residence district. Polish, as I said, Polish Hall is a legal, to me, pre-existing, non-conforming use that benefits from these certificates of occupancy. Parking is a permitted accessory use to their primary use as a catering facility. We all know there's a bowling alley and a bar downstairs. Parking spaces are accessory to Polish Hall uses. It's my opinion that we satisfied this last sentence of 231H, and that the only variance we're seeking from this board is the distance requirement, because we are in excess of 200 feet. As a little backdrop, it is important to note between 1959 and 1993, the Polish Hall property was located in Industrial A zone or Industrial 1 zoning district, as was that entire area. And it's weird how it was carved out. The Polish Hall was carved out for RA 40, but right across the street where More Storage and Long Island Brewery is, they've Industrial C, which is transferred over now to light industrial. You also have Long Island Cauliflower down the road. You have Long Island Ice and Fuel on the other side of the railroad tracks. So this was a predominantly industrial area, and some of those uses are still there. So the industrial use across the street, there's a more storage building across the street. Long Island Ice and Fuel is still there. Long Island Cauliflower is still there. We submitted a traffic study that the licensed traffic engineer, Delandro Andrews. The study found that none of the peak parking demand timeframes for the proposed uses overlap pursuant to the ITE manual. The ITE parking generation manual calculations estimates that the required parking spaces will in fact be closer to 22.81, so you round it up to 23 parking spaces instead of the required 30. There were several pictures that I submitted to the board. I just wanted to flip through them with you real quick. I just wanted you to look at the aerial photograph of the corner of Lincoln Street. This photo here shows the corner of my client's property, which is shaped like a triangle that backs up to the Long Island Railroad, and just shows the distances when you walk from outside the front of the building and you walk all the way to the parking area, so for a total of 323.50 feet. If you flip to the next page, there's a Google Earth picture. This is the building before, or maybe just right after my client purchased it. Growing up, walking past it, I never thought it was a very attractive building, but if you flip the next page after that, there is a picture my client painted the outside of the building, in-kind, in-place replacement of windows, and he installed some lighting. I think it's a very lovely paint job that was done, and I think it made the building look 10 times better than it did. If we're to go by the 5-part test, and I'll just go really quickly because I know Mr. Nigel wants to speak, proposed variances would not have a negative impact on the adjacent properties in the neighborhood. The applicant at 505 is not proposing to expand the footprint of the building, and in fact, they're going to be decreasing it slightly. They're going to take off the small 75 square foot triangular corner of the building. The applicant is proposing uses that are conforming to Village Center zoning district, and the proposed 24 off-site parking stalls will be a short distance from the property on hopefully a newly paved and striped parking lot that contains drainage, which it does not have now. The requested variances are not substantial. The board has in the past granted a distance variance for Farm Country Kitchen of about 575 feet, walking distance where we're requesting 323 feet. The benefits sought by the applicant cannot be achieved by some alternate means because the property does not contain enough room to construct the required 24 parking stalls. It is a triangular shaped property. The building takes up most of the space on there, and important to note that the lot is oversized for the zoning district it's located in. There's over 13,000 square foot of area for this lot, and 5,000 is the minimum lot area in the zoning district. No matter what you put conforming uses in this building, they're going to require off-site parking. And the applicant is going to have to find that. And I think that there was a lot of contractor uses that were used in the past in this building. And if you go there today, there are cars parked in the front of the building. There are cars parked off to the side. There've always been cars parked off to the side.
That's from that illegal repair shop across the street.
Well, today, you must have been there today. Today it was, I'm told, yes. The person who owns the repair shop across the street today did park their cars on my client's property.
It goes on all the time,
Yes.
and it really shouldn't be there. But once he gets out of prison, he'll be back in business.
I'm told that he sold it, that particular
Did he?
person,
Okay.
yes.
Good idea. So it shouldn't be used for that.
The difficulty was not self-created. This property has historically been used for warehousing and contractor uses. The applicant wishes to continue the use of the property with conforming uses. Unfortunately, the triangular shape of the property and the shape of the existing building don't lend itself to providing more than a few on-site parking stalls. I know that Tom Nigel is here, President Polish Hall. He would like to address the letter that was submitted by Charles Cuddy.
Excuse me? No, I am not a lawyer.
Do you solemnly swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I do.
Please state your name and address.
Tom Nigel, 1131 Ostrander Avenue, Riverhead. Good evening, everybody. Like I said, my name is Tom Nigel. I'm president of Riverhead Polish Hall, Riverhead Polish Independent Club, also known as Polish Hall. I became president of Polish Hall in March of 2021, just slightly after Ziggy Walensky passed away. I've been a member since 2017, although I've been part of Polish Hall most of my life, along with the majority of my relatives and my family. Polish Hall was built and started in April of 1903, and the club was incorporated on October 21st, 1907. Which makes it 122 years old. The original building burnt down in 1928, and the present main structure was built and been standing there for 97 years now. And just on a side note, the rear kitchen was built in 1969, which was probably the last plans that I have that were an addition. I come before the board tonight in support of the application of 505 Lincoln Street. Like so many other clubs and organizations in town of Riverhead, Polish Hall has struggled financially since the onset of COVID in 2020. Polish Hall is beginning to see the light at the end of the tunnel, as we recently have been seeing a surge in membership and due to part to finally admitting women into our club. Polish Hall is more than a catering hall with 4 bowling alleys. We are not only part of the Polish community, but part of the fabric of the town of Riverhead. We host weddings, birthday parties, bar mitzvahs, repasses, retirements, pancake breakfasts, spaghetti dinners, veterans, events, flea markets, fundraisers, and even battle of the bands. When the Polish festival was on hiatus for several years there, we took over and we invited the community to come to Polish Hall to celebrate in August. You name it, we've hosted it, and proudly, and you don't have to be Polish to book these events. We are proud to be in the venue that the community chooses when they want to, the fellowship with each other, and celebrate life's special moments. Sadly, we've seen in the past few years how short and tragic life can be. We at the Hall proudly cherish the moments we share with our Riverhead community by hosting these events. It's no secret that because of our financial struggles, certain repairs have gone by the wayside because they have been too cost prohibitive. Though our north parking lot on Pulaski is paved and striped, the parking area to the south is not. There is no formalized parking on this area. It does not contain drainage, needs to be regraded, paved, and striped. It is essential that it is estimated that the cost for this work is around $250,000, which is an expense Polish Hall cannot bear. To that end, one of our members, who happened to be a member of the property owner of LLC of this application, approached us with a proposal that would install the drainage, pave and stripe the parking area with a proposal that would still install the drainage, pay for the survey fee and do the application to improve the parking area in exchange for an agreement that the future tenants could utilize the 24 parking stalls. As Kim mentioned, the total parking stalls required for the operation is 45 stalls. The map shows that there are 34 stalls on the northern parking lot. The southern parking lot, which does not have any formalized parking stalls, is proposed at 49 stalls for a total of 83 parking spots. Polish Hall requires 45 stalls with plenty of leftover. The proposal benefits us as much as it benefits the applicant. Without the variance requested, there will be no improvement to this parking lot. I am aware of the letter submitted by attorney Charles Cuddy, who represents Silverback Holdings. Silverback obtained a lot area variance from this board, enabling a 2 subdivision form or lot. This was the back barn that we called it. The Silverback lot contains a building. Unfortunately, for reasons too lengthy to discuss here, Silverback commenced an action in Supreme Court, which resulted in the court order mandating us to sell and close with them. I do believe Silverback has finalized the subdivision with the town of Riverhead. I don't believe Silverback has finalized the subdivision. I am shocked and saddened by Mr. Cuddy's interpretation of the unrecorded post-closing agreement, which is only valid for 90 days. During the negotiations, court appearances, and many discussions have been between the parties with the council present. Silverback did not want our patrons parking vehicles overnight on their side of the property, and by the same token, we did not want to have their clients, customers, and vehicles parked overnight on our side of the property. The attorney for Polish Hall, Karen Hogue, has submitted a letter to the record stating that Polish Hall hosts many catering events and the Polish Festival. We would never agree to a condition that would prohibit our customers from leaving their cars overnight. As frequently as happens, it is interesting to note that Silverback has not made any complaints to us about the overnight parking, and that now occurs on our side of the lot, which occurs frequently. The cross-access agreement that was signed and a condition by the planning board for the 2-lot subdivision with Silverback does not prohibit the overnight parking of the vehicles. The Riverhead Town Code does not prohibit overnight parking of vehicles. The self-serve interpretation made by counsel of Silverback is illogical. How many people in this room know someone who attended a wedding or event at Polish Hall and had to leave their car there overnight so it didn't have to drive home? Why would we agree, huh?
Could have happened a few times.
I would agree. We have a bar, so
Yeah, I know.
it's only logical to call an Uber nowadays and taxi cab or have the wife drive you home. So, in any event, I respectfully submit the post-closing agreement as a private agreement between us and Silverback. If Silverback wants to litigate us against on the meaning of the words, that is their prerogative. But we ask that this should not affect the variance being requested for 505 Lincoln. I thank you.
Anyone else?
There's a guy in the back of it.
You solemnly swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, but nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I do.
Please state your name and address.
My name is Daniel Burke. I live at 10 Cooper Street in Shoreham. I'm also one of the owners of Long Island Beer Company, which is a adjacent property from the Polish Hall. I've been a tenant of Jim and Frank for about 8 years or so now. I would like to say that the success curve that Polish Hall is on right now seems to be great for the neighborhood. The improvements that they would get out of this gifted parking lot, I think is maybe the right word. I'm not sure. But it just overall in the entire area, that if we continue to see the upswing and improvements that are going on, it would be beneficial to everyone. And take what's a blighted property. Mine, that the old Agway building has a complete turnaround. The building that's on the railroad tracks looks great now. So just to continue that whole improvement of the area, I can't see how anyone would be against that.
Thank you, Mr. Burke.
Someone else?
There's somebody back there.
Do you solemnly swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes, I do.
Please state your name and address.
Ray Dickoff, Aquabog. Just as I work with the Fisher organization, we have multiple properties in town. My question is, will the Polish Hall, this parking lot, it goes through a site plan process to get a fully approved site plan?
Yes, they received administrative site plan approval.
They did.
Yeah. For the parking improvements, the planning board didn't consider who would be doing the improvements, just if Polish Hall wanted to do the improvements, it was done administratively.
Does the site plan show 44 parking spaces or 45 parking spaces? Or how many is it?
It shows the existing northern lot and then 49 proposed stalls.
That's without the ones that are being leased to others?
This is the total.
What's the total after the lease to others?
So Polish Hall, the total with the proposed parking is 83, less the 45 that Polish Hall needs, less the 24 that 505 Lincoln would need, results in an excess of 14 stalls.
So Polish Hall requires 45 parking spaces?
Yes.
On their website, they cater weddings up to 300 people. They are, on their website, they have a bowling leagues. They're advertising for bowling leagues in the basement. They're running Ziggy's Place, which is a nightclub. They can do a 300-person wedding and all of these other features on 45 parking spaces?
I mean, based on the calculations that were provided on the site plan, that's what the planning board reviewed. We didn't review the website.
But, I mean, like everybody said, including the president of the association, they have weddings, they have bar mitzvahs, they have multiple parties.
Yep,
The
so
website,
I defer to
they offer
council.
for 300 people.
So are you opposed to this?
I'm just questioning, because I would love to take a piece of property and just park a bunch of cars on it.
Do you have any interest in this property or any property?
Not this particular one, just what the outcome is going to be.
How do you spell your last name?
Dickhoff.
Can I address this?
So-
Can I reply
So
to
they
this?
went through an administrative site plan, so the site plan was approved based on what the code reads.
And based on what they
Not the
submitted
amount of
to the
people, you
planning
should
board.
know that.
Well, if they have to get a site plan and the use
They did.
currently there
They had
has 300 people,
It's not based on people, based on square footage.
it's not based on the people. So it's not based on the usage. All right, thank you.
They can have 600 people.
If I may, Mr. Dickoff, you raise an excellent point, and you jumped right ahead of me on the issue, because I have inquiries regarding, quote, the events, Battle of the Bands. I think your question really relates to, quote, a letter of pre-existing use or a certificate of occupancy for the use. So, at this point in time, we're going to hear the remainder of the testimony, but it's a very valid question,
Thank you.
and one that is likely going to be required to be addressed.
Thank you.
I mean, looking at the file, I can see there's a lot of legal issues here. And it's complex. And it's a possibility that maybe everybody needs to get back to the table and figure this out. But that's just me. That's how I like
I'm
it.
not a lawyer, but I swear to tell the truth. You can sit down.
You swear?
We gotta do this, okay? You solemnly swear to tell the truth, nothing but the
Yes,
truth,
I
so help
do.
you God? Please state your name.
My name is Elizabeth Stokes, and I live at 204 Sweezy Avenue. I am the house on the corner, right there, Lincoln and Sweezy. It's an old house. It was built in 1860, and my survey was done by Henry Saxton's father, who walked off the property. So that's how old my house is. Okay, I came here tonight to offer my support for the developer across the street from my house at 505 Lincoln, because that place lay dormant for so long. Nothing was happening to it. Guys were coming there, sitting, having like drinking parties. This is in the daytime, in the morning. He has cleaned this up, absolutely fantastic. Behind the building, he's cleaned that up. And that was a nonsense thing. They were having guys drink and fall asleep, pass out right on the railroad tracks. This doesn't happen anymore. So I applaud him giving this building a facelift and what he's bringing to the neighborhood. There's a lot of traffic now that goes through the Polish Hall parking lot. I don't know if anybody knows that, but at night, it's like people use that, as like a drive-through. So I don't see how that's like an issue. People drive the cars through there now anyway. And Riverhead PD, on a whole, have increased their patrols in Polish Town. And sometimes 2 cars sit across the street in the Polish Hall parking lot for like hours on end. So with the new street lights I got put in, they're like strobe lights. I mean, it is really safe there now. And I applaud this developer for doing this. And the storage facility across the way from the parking lot, that has given so much light across from that into that parking lot that I feel it's an improvement. And, we focus as taxpayers on the beautification of Main Street, but Riverhead's more than Main Street. We have to want to help the side villages here, like Polish Town. And so I am in support of this. I think they deserve it. Kim, you hit it right on the head. The people that go to that Farm Country Kitchen, they take their life in their hands. They park in that parking lot on Sweezy Avenue, then they have to walk all the way up to Main Street, and then take their life in their hands crossing the street. And that was allowed. So, I'm not understanding this. Huh?
It wasn't allowed.
It wasn't allowed?
We required a crossing.
Oh, wow, that's like an accident waiting to happen.
That requirement.
Yeah, that's
we
like
gave the
terrible.
variance.
But, so anyway, I support this because I believe he's fixing up the neighborhood, and that's what I want. I've been there 50 years, and yeah, I want to see some improvement. So, anyway, and thank you all of you for the work that you do for the town of Riverhead.
Thank you.
All right, I don't get up to the mic too often.
When you refer to he, who are the people that are developing this? I'd like to, are they here? Can you raise your hand? Can I see who you are? Okay.
And your wife, and your wife.
And wife?
wife.
She's the boss? Okay.
Really, I applaud them. I really, as a taxpayer
No, I'd like to meet
resident,
people
I
who are
applaud
doing
them.
projects, which is
So
okay.
I applaud them. Whatever can be done in that area for improvement, I'm all for.
So
I'm all for
let me get this clear in my head. The Polish Hall is trying to get parking spots and rent. Are you renting
Correct.
over a period of so many years, as long as the building exists?
An agreement.
It's an agreement.
Correct.
And you would benefit, the Polish Hall would benefit from
Yeah,
it.
right.
Okay. And Silverback, is that you guys? Okay. And there were questions of cross easements. There are questions that we're asking, the documents that Mr. Cuddy filed. We're not sure legally where we stand on all this at the moment, but we're certainly going to defer to legal counsel on this. Well, I just want you to know what our position's going to be, or is, or at least mine, at this point. But I'd like to know who the players are, too.
Well, you know
It's
what?
good to know.
I'm proud of this town. I love Riverhead.
I love
That's why I
Riverhead.
stayed here. And I know all of you want to do what's best for Riverhead Town.
Of course we do.
And like I said, the beautification part should not only be Main Street. It should be other parts of the town, and then we all come full circle. Everybody benefits. So again, I applaud all of you for the work that you do. I haven't been to the mic in a long time, so I'm retired now, so I might have some more time to do this.
You're always welcome. Very good.
People gotta retire and get in trouble.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Oak.
Thank you. Anyone else out there? Just state your name and address.
Good evening, Charles Cuddy, 445 Griffin Avenue, Riverhead, New York. As the gentleman indicated, I represent in this matter, although I did not do any litigation, Silverback Holdings. I think that I've admired the work that Kimberly Judd does, but I think I've reached a very different conclusion than she has about this application. The application really is based on what she said, which is 301-231 of the town code. That says a couple of things. It says when you have spaces that are within 200 feet, you can then have this particular approval. Of course, they don't have spaces within 200 feet. They have them within 323 feet, which is a 50% increase. But that's very minor. What's really significant is you have the two zones, and you have the code saying something very deliberate. It says parking spaces cannot be created in a residential district unless the use to which the spaces are accessory is permitted in the residential district. There's no question that an apartment is permitted in an RA 40 district, which means that you can't get an area variance. This application is for an area variance. When something is not permitted, it's prohibited in zoning. If it's prohibited in zoning, without any question, there's only one variance you can get. It's a use variance. This is not a use variance application, and it probably couldn't be. So I don't think you could ever approve the application that's been made. It's a use variance. It can only be granted if it's a use variance. If it's prohibited, it's not permitted. And it's that direct. So I would ask the board to really consider that, because this cannot be granted as an area variance. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Cuddy.
Mr. Cuddy, could I ask you a few questions? So, there was a cross-access and shared parking agreement, December 1st, 2023, I believe related to the application for subdivision. Is that correct? Yes. Wherein your client, it was divided such that Polish Hall had their property and your client gained his piece of property.
That's correct.
Okay. And that subdivision was approved.
Yes.
Okay. And under the second, there was some discussion regarding the post-closing. But I'm not focused on that. What I'm focused on is provision 2 under the cross-access and shared parking declaration, which states that for and in consideration of $1, the receipt of which is hereby acknowledged, the declarant grants cross-access and shared parking between the two lots.
Correct.
So, the way that may be interpreted is that Polish Hall granted the parking spaces that were plotted and part of the subdivision.
Yeah.
I mean, the language is straightforward, in my opinion.
That's how I understand it, yes.
Right. So, irrespective of this, which really isn't relevant, and this cross-access agreement, that was required by the approval resolution of the planning board, yes or no?
I think it was, I don't have it before me, so I can't remember.
Okay. Question. Does your client have a letter of pre-existing use or a use permit currently for his property?
No.
Does your client intend on making application in the near future?
Yes, you would probably have to apply for a use variance, yes.
And am I correct, your client did not secure a letter of pre-existing use prior to the subdivision of the property?
That's correct.
Okay. Because there's a provision in the town code, and don't quote me, I don't have it in front of me, but I believe it's 301-222, that when you have a pre-existing non-conforming use, you can maintain it on a lot held in single and separate. In this instance, there was a subdivision of property that divided the property owned by Polish Hall into the two different lots. I don't have anything else.
Anybody else? Anyone else in the audience that wishes to speak?
If nobody else is going to speak.
Someone swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. So help you. Please state your name and address.
Frank Fisher, Fisher Organization. My office is 500 Riverhead Avenue in Riverhead. So I'm just a little confused, and again, what Ray said is about the outcome. Are we talking about commercial, multi-use property being able to rent parking spaces from residential property? Is that what this is?
So what the application seeks, basically, is under the code, section, they're seeking relief for a commercial use utilizing parking in a Residence A40 zone.
Okay, I don't have a dog in this fight, but I'm just very curious in the outcome because we own quite a few pieces of property in the area, and if this is favorable, then we're going to be submitting some applications right behind it. Second thing, I've been part of Polish Hall my whole life. I grew up in the hall. I have many memories of steak dinners, and we were just there actually for the lobster roll bake on Sunday, and I think it's an incredible place. So I just want to offer to you guys, if this doesn't go through for you, I'm a developer as well. I think your quotes for the parking lot are extremely expensive. I think we can get it done for about $60,000, and I would like to donate that money to the Polish Hall if you don't get this through as a plan B, and try to help you guys out. All right, out of my own pocket. All right?
That's nice of you.
Love Riverhead. I'm a Riverhead son. Graduated here, 97, my whole life, and the least we can do. So, thank you very much.
Thank you. Anyone else? Oh,
Could I make a couple reply comments? I'll be real quick.
Sure.
To the gentleman, Mr. Dykoff, that was asking about the parking requirements. I'm just reading from the map that the parking requirement for the town of Riverhead is 1 stall per every 300 square foot of floor area. So it's based on the size of the building, 8,529 square feet divided by 300 square feet is 29 stalls required. You add that with the bowling alley, 4 stalls per alley, four alleys times 4 equals 16 stalls, so the total stalls provided 45. So that's how that number was arrived at for the gentleman who asked before.
So earlier there was a mention of a parking study done. Did the parking study include a study of the uses of Polish Hall?
No, it included the anticipation generation of how many spaces are going to need for 505 Lincoln.
Okay, so it did not analyze the potential spaces necessary or utilized currently by Polish Hall.
Not the current one. That's correct. It did not evaluate how many spots, because the number of spots that we're proposing are in excess of what's required by the parking code.
Council, did you have an opportunity to review the December 1st, 2023 cross-access agreement?
The cross-access agreement, yes.
Okay.
And by the way, I didn't represent the parties during that. Polish Hall had another attorney, but I did read that it was submitted to the record.
Okay.
And I read the other agreements as well. The last thing I want to say to the board.
Do you have an opinion on that? On whether or not Silverback has a right to any of the parking spaces?
I think I don't have any issue. I think what the parties were disagreeing about from Mr. Cuddy's letter was that there was no overnight parking of vehicles allowed by anybody anywhere. So that is what I got from the reading of the agreement, and I think that's what Mr. Nigel replied to was, no, that's not how it reads, and that's not how it was negotiated with their attorney and the attorney for Silverback. And by the way,
he may have raised that. That's not my question. My question is, you've reviewed it, you read it. Do you have an opinion as to whether or not Mr. Cuddy's client has any rights to any of those parking spaces?
I think the plan shows that he has dedicated parking spaces on his property, and the cross-access agreement allows for each of the parties to pass through the properties to get to their parking areas.
It says grants cross-access and shared parking.
I'm not debating.
Your interpretation that language simply meant you get to drive through and pass through.
I'm not disputing any part of the cross-access or the post-closing agreement other than the overnight parking. That's my only concern. I'm not disputing that they're allowed to drive over across each other's properties, that they can park. We show a plan where we're providing 83 parking stalls, which is 14 spots in excess of what the uses for Polish Hall plus 505 Lincoln would require. And by the way, that post-closing agreement, if they want to litigate that, and I have the utmost admiration and respect for Mr. Cuddy. And that's the truth. And this is not before you. This is a private matter which they can litigate in a proper venue. Proper venue is Supreme Court, not the Zoning Board of Appeals. You are not here to issue an opinion or to read it into it. You were just here to listen to everybody's testimony and our request for the area variance. The legitimacy of that post-closing agreement is not something that is before you.
With all due respect, Counselor, if there are no parking stalls to give, that is an issue for the zoning board.
There are plenty of parking spots. There are plenty. There are 83 stalls that are being proposed. There are existing stalls on the northerly parking lot, and by the way, anybody that goes by there, that southerly parking lot, how many cars are there, Tom? Usually? I don't want to make you talk but come up here. Let's talk about parking on the southerly lot. How often is that lot full or used?
Basically on the weekends, either a Friday or a Saturday event, birthday party or whatever catering event we would have on a Saturday. Give or take, Polish Hall, we average either 100 to 250 people on a catering event for a weekend, on a day. So addressing parking, yes, the northern lot fills up quickly because that's on the church side. The southerly one does even out, and it does overflow into Silverback Silverback's property slightly if they park that far. But usually they don't because there's no light there, and they kind of shy away from there. There is overflow parking, though, at the old Agway across the street. So a lot of people go over there and where the taxi cab place used to be, which is directly across from the steps from Polish Hall. So we're not disputing that we share the parking, and he's able to share parking with us also. I'm not disputing that. I mean, we all play, we try and play nice. Even to say that, even when church goes on Saturday and Sunday mornings, I have all the church parking coming on to Polish Hall. It's been that way since I was a little boy. And it's just the way things are. I can't rope it off. I can't put signs up saying, no, you can't park here. I have a christening this morning or something. It just doesn't happen. And I'm not going to deny church people from parking there and going across the street to St. Isidore's. It's not the nice thing to do. But basically Fridays and Saturdays, yes, the southerly part is full. And give or take, we'll have, maximum like a Sweet 16 or something with the Spanish is usually around 250 people. But down from there, an usual party is 150 to 200.
I'm just going to hand up a line of cases for council to review. It's in response to Mr. Cuddy's argument that a use variance standard applies. I'm not going to sit here and bore you all with the details. I'll hand it over to council. But basically, if you're not seeking to change the essential use of the property, an area variance standard applies. We are not seeking to change the material essential use of this property. Polish Hall is still going to remain a catering facility. It's still going to have a bar downstairs. It's still going to have a bowling alley. It's still going to host events. Parking is a permitted accessory use, and we're going to submit this for that proposition. Yes. I don't know if there's anybody else who would like to speak, but thank you for your time.
Two more quick questions. So, how many apartments are proposed? 9?
9, correct?
Yes, no.
So, what happens at the end of the lease if the lease isn't renewed?
It's proposed as a 100-year lease. It's proposed as a 100-year lease.
What happens at the end of the lease? Where do the cars park?
There is an option to renew it. Again, we haven't gotten that far because we don't know if we're getting a variance. So we haven't, we did draft, and when I say we, Polish Hall, and it was just a proposal. We did give it to the town attorney for his eyes. He did take a quick look at it. He did make some suggestions, but again, I'm sure he'll have more comments if we get that far.
And that was my last question. So I went through the proposed agreement that you submitted in your planning board packet. and I'm just curious. It states the leased premises shall not be used by tenant to park recreational vehicles, RVs, campers, boats, pods, storage trailers, or commercial vehicles that take up more than one parking space. Just out of curiosity, are all these things to be allowed if they fit in one parking space?
No, I think the
Well-
intent is that people, and like I said, this is a proposal, it hasn't been fully fleshed out. But no, the intent is not to have commercial vehicles and oversized vehicles parked in any dedicated area if the board sees fit to grant the variance.
So you can see I went through a couple markups. So I would take a hard look at some of these provisions, particularly the use, the hold harmless. Anyway, only because I don't believe.
We hope to get there, Ms. Prudenti. We hope to get there.
Not what you intend. What's the October date?
October 9th or October 23rd.
And I'm going to try to work with the term.
23rd. I think she
We'll
wants.
adjourn. We won't close the hearing.
Okay.
I think I'm gonna be sick that day.
Excuse me. I think we've heard a lot of testimony, there's a lot of information here, and it's, as Mr. Bourne said, there's a lot of complexity here. And we'd like to go to, what is it, October
23rd?
23rd to adjourn, and possibly then all the parties that are involved can somehow get together with our legal attorney, Anne Marie, and see if this can't be worked out. Okay, right now, I personally can't form any kind of opinion because it's so complex. And we want to do the right thing so we don't have 29 applications after, say, we approve this one for everybody coming in for something we did that wasn't done properly. So if you would give us the time till October 23rd, that's going to be adjourned then, and then please.
The hearing's open, it's kept open.
Yes, it's kept
We're
open.
coming back?
We're not closing anything. It's good to hear that Polish Hall is making a comeback, because that is a famous place. So,
Everybody loves the Polish
So
Hall.
motion to adjourn
There's
to
no doubt.
October 23rd? Have someone motion?
meetings, we're closing nothing.
Mr. Chairman, respectfully make a motion, we adjourn this to October 23rd.
Second.
All right, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. So welcome back, everyone, and let's go to work and see if we can't work this out.
And we have minutes.
No, we have minutes to do.
Charlie.
Oh, wait, cut it.
No, it's not closed.
Okay,
We have meeting minutes, August 28th of 2025.
Make a motion, date approved.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
The next meeting date is September 25th of 2025, so we just need a motion to close the meeting.
So moved.
All in favor?
Aye.
Yes, we're done.